SZA's Control might not be her most popular album in terms of numbers, but it's definitely her best album that she made, at least for me. But Control versus SOS aside, what you're here for is the production of Control, which has to be SZA's most distinctive album she's ever made. But what makes it so distinctive from everything else that she has made? Don't worry, we're gonna get into it. So we're gonna make 2 beats. Well, actually it's 1 beat, but it has 2 parts to it. And this first section is gonna be inspired by Love Galore, more specifically that main melody. So the synth of our choice is gonna be the Prophet 5, which is from the Arteria V collection. And if you don't have the Arteria V collection, get it right now. If you're trying to look for your Verse VST to buy, get that. You get more than enough synths, pianos, e-pianos, organs. I literally use this every single beat, almost every single beat. Prophet 5, key of E flat major. Don't know what that looks like? Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so our chord progression is going to be 4, 1. And so for the rest of this video, I'm just going to refer to the notes as numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But Nate, how do you get that sound on the synth? Thank you for asking. Thank you for participating in my class. If you look at this synth at first glance, it might seem, well, it does look intimidating, I'm not gonna lie, but it's really not. Trust. Let me simplify this for you. And if you don't have a Prophet 5, you can just always get Vital, which is a free synthesizer, which is amazingly good for being free. I really don't know why it's free, but hey, it is. And the first thing you gotta learn is you have 2 oscillators, all right? You have oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. And what it does is that it gives you sound. And so oscillator 1 gives you 2 waveforms, all right? The saw wave and the square wave. While oscillator 2 has 3. It gives you that triangle one as well. And so for this synth specifically, I'm going to keep it as a saw wave and change this to the triangle, all right? Boom. And also we have this frequency knob. These frequency knobs kind of just, so this is what it sounds like right now, okay? What you want to do right here, you're gonna put that joint to 12 semitones. Now it's higher, you know what I'm saying? You get what I mean? You're picking up what I'm trying to put down, hopefully. All right, now let me land, all right? Let me land. You see this mixer right here? It does exactly what you think it does. It mixes the sound between oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. So right now, we only hear oscillator 1. But lo and behold, watch this. We put this joint up. Oh wow, it's changing, right? That's kind of crazy. But the real crazy part is this noise knob, all right? This is the most important knob you're ever gonna find on a synthesizer. Now you might be asking, what does it do, Nate? What does it do? Oh my goodness, let me show you. I'm so glad you asked. You turn it up and it gives you noise. But we're actually gonna put this one down to like 1. Noise is too much. Right here is good. Oscillator 2, put that joint to like right here. Now, this is the most important part, okay? Actually, I'm not even joking right now, okay? This is the filter. It's so much simpler than what you think it is. Essentially, this filter is your low pass filter for your sound. So, for example, let's give you like an EQ, all right? This is your sound. Essentially, what it does is that it gives you this. This goes up and down. And so the cutoff is where you put your filter at. The resonance is that little top little part. So if you go back to the actual EQ example, it's this part right here. Turn it up. Essentially, that's what the resonance does. It's just up and down. And then the envelope amount determines the range of where you can put your cutoff. Essentially, it probably does something else, but that's how I visualize it in my head. Now, next up is the ADSR. And you probably heard that before, attack, decay, sustain, release. It's universal between every single synth. Some synths are different, but they all do the same thing, to be honest. And so what does this do? This determines the movement of the attack does is determines how fast the filter goes from 0 to where you placed it. So the attack is this movement right here. Decay is how long you want your filter to be where you placed it. Sustain is where the filter goes right after you just press the key. So like, for example, you know how a piano has like the first initial sound, and then the more you kind of press it, the softer it gets? That's the sustain. So it goes like this, all right? Attack, decay, sustain. Now it sustains right here. Pretty self-explanatory. And then release is how fast or slow the filter goes back to 0 once you release the key. So it should look like attack, decay, sustained, and then once you release the key, the release does like this. So that being said, putting the cutoff at 4 right here, resonance 3, envelope amount 3, attack really doesn't have much attack. Decay though, we're gonna put it at 2, sustain at 5, release at 5, and then this amplifier, it also has attack, release, sustain, but instead of the filter, it's the volume. So how fast it goes from quiet to loud, how long you want the lattice to be, and then the sustained volume that you want it to be at, and then how fast it goes back to 0. And then boom, that's essentially it. Now it just seems pretty simple, like you know the framework to make whatever sound you want. You go to the oscillator, pick and choose, you know what I'm saying? Go to the mixer, see however you want to mix it. Go to the filter to filter out some frequencies that you don't want, or just leave them in there, and then go to the amplifier to see what, you know, sound you want to do. It is that simple. But ultimately, the simpler you do it, the better sounds you're gonna get, in my experience. The more I try to like make some complicated crap, the more like it seems hard, but it's really not that hard. You're just kind of making it hard on yourself. And then on top of this, go to the effects, man. This is why I love the Arturia V collection, man. Add some reverb, tape echo, you know what I'm saying? It sounds good, right? It sounds like SZA. SZA's gonna be on this beat like crazy. Come on, like. But after that, I added a synth bass that does the exact same melody. But next up is a counter melody, or however you want to say it, or regular melody. Anyway, it's just another layer, to be honest. But there's a really cool trick to it that I barely see producers really use, and I feel like they should use it more often, and that's that pitch bend. Use the pitch bend. You can get some really cool sounds with it. I also used the pitch bend on this little drone sound in the background as well. Then after that, I added some chords and we're done with the melody. But even though we are done with the melody per se, the character isn't necessarily there, you know what I'm saying? It's too clean. Control has this imperfect lo-fi vibe to it. So to recreate that, I literally put RC20 on everything. Now, since we are officially done with all of the melodic elements into the beat, it's time to learn how to make drums that truly knock. Well, obviously, you know, to how we want it to knock. It's not no trap beat, you know what I'm saying? I'm not no trap producer, you know. But before we get into the drums, there's one last thing that we have to do. So group all your instruments into one group and then put an EQ on it. And then you'll see this, all right? See all that low end right there? Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. Technically, we can't hear it as is. But when we put the drums and everything, it's gonna hinder how big and how much it's gonna knock. So what we wanna do, okay? Put the EQ on it like I said, and then just filter it out. And now we have all this room for the kick to slide in. Now that we got that out of the way, it's time to put a simple drum pattern. A simple kick, a rim shot, hi-hats with triplets, and another side rim shot that, you know, just is there, I guess. Sounds cool. We're doing it. It's nice, it's simple, and it works. And that's all that we need. And sure, it does sound good, but we can make it sound better. So let me put y'all on game. Ableton has this amazing effect called drum bus that does wonders to the drums. Just listen. Now, if you don't have Ableton, well, I guess you snooze, you lose, I guess. Go buy it. You do have alternatives such as Drums That Knock and Panks, which is free. Panks is free, but on top of this, we're gonna add a compressor, but not just any compressor, a compressor called the Glue compressor that is strictly on Ableton. Ableton is just that DAW. Like, I don't know why you guys still on FL Studio Logic. Like, just get y'all some Ableton. Like, but any compressor can really do the trick. Most likely your compressor is gonna have like presets on it, and that's what I usually use. I just click on a preset and then I tweak it to however I want to use it. But even though this first part sounds really good, this second part of the beat, which isn't necessarily inspired by any specific song on the album, is my favorite part. I like this second part better than the first part, to be honest. And it all comes down to this ARP. Because when I was making that first beat, I realized I was missing something so distinct to SZA's sound, and that was ARPs. And SZA loves ARPs. But instead of using a 4-1 progression, we're gonna use a 2-3 progression. And this is what it sounds like with, again, RC20 and, lo and behold, Guitar Rig out of all things. Now you might be asking, why are you using Guitar Rig? Well, thank you for asking. Check this out, alright? Let me put y'all on game. Now, if you do get the paid version, you get this crazy delay called Psych Delay, which I use a lot, actually. And to be honest, you could probably get this by itself on Native Instruments, especially like during the summertime. I know like they have like this discount at the summertime, but I do just recommend you getting Guitar Rig because look, go to components, you get so much stuff, ensemble, flangers and everything, so much more delays. What is this? How many? You get 8 delays, distortion, so many distortions. Is this 12 reverbs that I'm looking at right here? 12? That's crazy. EQs, compressors, some pitch stuff that you can do. Like, these are actually really good, and I use this all the time. I literally use this all the time. You have presets for keys you can use. For keys, pads, pianos, loops, synths. Come on, man. I'm gonna put y'all on game. Vocals, like, it's all here. You can use Guitar Rig for more than just guitars. And on top of the ARP, instead of trap drums, SZA does like to use real drums too. So we're gonna add that as well. And again, adding a drum bus and the Glue compressor on it. But on top of those two, just for even extra low end, and this helps for like acoustic drums in particular, there's this plugin called the BX Self Filter. Bro, get that? It's totally free. It's amazing. And this is what it sounds like. But next up is the real fun part, at least for me. Now, if you do know me, you know I love me a good bass line. SZA loves a good bass line too. And it really aggravates me when people don't know how to make a good bass line. So let me teach y'all. Now, remember when I said the chord progression is 2-3? Well, technically that's still the case, but instead of staying at the 3, we're gonna go to the 6 on the bass. Why? Because we can, and the bass is super important. You change the bass, you change the whole vibe of the song. All right. Okay, I know. Shirt changed. What else changed? I'm wearing glasses now. Less light. But hey, check me out, alright? What's always going to work when playing the bass for a filler or whatever, right? To make it seem fancy and everything is going to be the 5, the 7, the 2, and the 4. 5, 7, 2, and the 4. And that's relative to whatever bass note that you're playing. So let's say we're playing a 2. What's always going to work is the 5, the 7, the octave, I forgot to say the octave, and the 2. every single time. It doesn't matter where you are. It's always going to be the 2, the 4, the 5, the 7, and the octave. That's going to sound really good. So what you're probably used to hearing is the octave, the 5, back to the root. So like this. I know you guys have heard that multiple times before. It's so common. It's like in every other song, to be honest. So knowing that, let's play our bass line, man. Come on. It's too simple. It's too simple, but it sounds really good, and nobody knows how to do it. But SZA isn't the only artist who loves using synths in her beats. There's actually one artist who knows his way around a beat or a synth, or, you know, just click on this video, bro. Just click on the video, bro. Come on.